This is Me Then and Now, Nikki Diaries, on Monday, the 11th of November 2024. I'm just listening to, I'm just watching ITV. Her Majesty the Queen talking about behind closed doors, domestic abuse, coercive control. Very interesting. And really, I suppose there's not a better person to be speaking about it, you know, i.e., I suppose because it's royalty, majority that may not have watched it are gonna watch it, you know. And it's great that she's talking about it. Other people are sharing their experiences. So let's continue listening to what is being said.
There's so much shame attached to being in an abusive relationship. Fear of, judgment. Fear of judgment is huge.
It feels like a dirty secret that you have. There's that shame of, I can't tell other people about it because they're going to look at me differently.
Victims start blaming themselves. Must be my fault. They shouldn't feel any shame. It's not their fault. And I think when you convince them that it's not their fault, then they start becoming themselves again.
This is Shauna.
Hello, Shauna.
She's by her portrait as well.
Hello, by your portrait. Are you quite pleased?
I'm very proud. Normally, domestic abuse is a private thing that happens in your home. Don't talk about it. And there's a lot of shame attached to domestic abuse. But that exhibition to me meant that's not my shame to carry. I'm not shameful that I was a victim of domestic abuse. I'm a survivor today.
Exactly.
It was a positive experience because a lot of people stopped to read what it meant.
Sharon. She is one of the most senior police officers in the country.
And it happens. And it happens. Exactly. Well, in a way, it's good for people to see that. Sometimes people will say, oh, that can't be true. Things like that don't happen. But, we all know it does. And it's happening everywhere. And domestic abuse can happen to anybody.
Most certainly can. And
I
no
still can't get over
regrets for
fact that-
my first and last experience with a narcissist, because I wouldn't know about the word narcissist. I wouldn't know about the experience. And sometimes it's good to go through the experiences. And I experienced 3 of the 4 verbal, mental and emotional abuse. Whereas I know his previous relationships experienced all 4: verbal, mental, emotional and physical.
Being a victim of domestic abuse, and I went to go and see her. She was ashamed and embarrassed, and I was thinking, no, you shouldn't be. I never made any plans to, but that there and then I told her about my experience, and it really helped her understand that this wasn't her shame. She said, I want to do a blog to the organisation. And then I had more guilt because I thought, well, why aren't I doing it? So I decided to do a video. I was the happy, strong acting inspector at work, and I didn't want anyone to see me in a different light. The feeling of shame and embarrassment was just so overwhelming. It was the first time I said those words out loud to myself, which is why it was so emotional. There will be colleagues around us today living in abusive relationships, and we need to be there for them. The bruises are real, you just can't see them. The day it went live, it just became inundated with messages, and 134 people inside even the Somerset police force said, me too. And I was like, what? There were common factors of why people weren't coming forward. The most common used words were shame and embarrassment. I thought, we've got to do something. I said, right, let's have a chat on Friday. We got together, and it's turned into this wonderful survivors network, built by survivors for survivors. There's a couple of you here who were in that very first meeting. We've had people who have joined us, and after many months and in one case years of living with an abuser and rape, they reported it. And we've got 3-4 perpetrators now, all facing criminal charges, all being investigated, because those survivors of our group felt they were believed and supported. I keep thinking, we've got the group, it's done, nobody else needs to join. But yeah, it's still happening. There are 3 people this week.
Hello, how are you? We haven't met, have we?
No, we haven't.
We haven't. No, I think I've met the others.
Yeah,
haven't you?
not me.
I'm so glad to get you all here.
Older people, they're kind of stuck in their ways, no offense. So like younger people are the people you kind of want to reach when you're trying to talk about, difficult subjects.
Year-old me didn't really get taught about healthy relationships, sexual abuse, financial abuse, or coercive control. But 16-year-old me was experiencing it.
One of the subjects that the change makers wanted to focus on was RSE, relationship and sex education in schools.
I expected to get a lot more out of RSE than I did in secondary school. And I think especially now you see like younger years who are potentially experiencing and going through things that they haven't even really been taught yet.
I think it's very interesting because you're virtually the same age as my granddaughters. And I was talking to one the other day and they were suggesting that to take sort of pop-up shops into schools, say with 2 or 3 change makers, are probably going to say much more to all of you than they would to some of us here.
Yeah.
We'll get there in the end. Yeah, this is our live again.
Thank you so
much for coming. I think through getting some of these wonderfully brave survivors to actually get up and talk about it has made people sit up and listen.
Are we all correcting?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And the more they talk about it, it's going to encourage more people to come forward. And you've seen, there are a lot of feisty women out there who've been through it, come out the other end, and are now telling others how to do it. And that's what we want.
Who wants to go first? Alice, you're confident.
The door's opening though.
Hello. Lovely to meet you.
Nice
I'm
to
Emma.
see you.
And to you. Thank you for inviting us.
Lovely to meet you. Hello. I've spotted all of you.
Hello, I'm Alice. Lovely to meet
Lovely to
you.
meet you, Emma.
I've had a little sneak preview
Wow.
with a few friends of mine, and there was nobody at the end of it who wasn't crying.
Wow.
They found it so moving that describing, that you felt the shame, the guilt. That's what everybody feels. isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It must be your fault, but now you realise it isn't.
Yeah.
Team asked me now, what did I think the changes are since the 1950s? Well, we would not be standing here.
No, goodness, no.
None of you would at all.
I wouldn't have spoke out 10 years ago.
You're in the police.
I am, yes.
And do people come to you and say?
Yeah, they really do. Not a week goes by where someone inside the organisation says, I've been a victim. I almost feel like what I went through now has meaning because I am changing, even if Somerset at least, inside out. And that's the way it's got to happen.
but it becomes a sort of taboo.
You almost take on the shame of the abuser. But
It's like the misplaced guilt.
It is, but once you start speaking, it's very empowering from that moment. You feel you've taken back the control that they took from you. I had the opportunity to enter into a pageant of all things, and I won and became Miss England 2021. And it was so funny that a beauty pageant helped me turn my pain into a purpose. Life doesn't end after abuse. I think it's just a new chapter, and you become a stronger woman from it.
This is the first time you've all
Yeah.
Yes.
all got together.
Yeah, because I was so young, as I was only 16, so like I'd never even spoken to anyone that had experienced what I had at that age. So speaking to you guys, it's like, it's amazing. If I were 16-year-old Alice, hearing, you know, about the things that I'd gone through, hearing the story of how it happened as well, I think that I would have had that kind of feeling as though what I was going through was real, and I could have got out of that relationship a lot earlier than I did.
And have your families all been supportive?
I recently got married just a couple of weeks ago, and my husband's incredibly supportive.
Oh,
congratulations.
Many that's a really nice end to the story.
It definitely is. If I think about the day, I still smile from ear to ear, because what I thought was impossible actually became possible. And I gave birth to a perfect little boy who makes me smile every day. He's very supportive,
Yeah.
and even on the wobbly days, because we still have them at times,
Yeah.
he's always there.
Yeah, because it never goes away forever, does it?
How do we eradicate domestic abuse?
Don't let's kid ourselves. It's going to take a long, long time because it's been going forever. You know, it's been going, well, since time began.
Thank you for watching, for the love and support. And if you haven't already, subscribe.